Let's get into this offense a little bit more nuts and bolts wise. We know what we've got in quarterback with Josh Hoover, and I think y'all are absolutely on the money saying that he is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. In what is an extremely deep quarterback league, there is a lot of very good quarterbacks in the Big 12 going into 2025, and everybody's sleeping on Josh Hoover. Let him go ahead and do it, okay? Let him find out in September, October, November. But I want to talk about this line first. Okay, because this is where it all begins and ends, and this is where we saw a lot of our biggest struggles, I feel like, offensively, and that we couldn't run the ball for so much of last year. Now, the offensive line did come along as we got toward the end of the year. There's also the question of who is going to be primarily carrying the load behind them. But Jeremy and Billy, do you think with those two new young tackles, Ben Taylor Whitfield and Ryan Hughes, now being thrust fully into that starting role, and an interior that has had now 2 seasons playing together, do you like what the potential this offensive line has going into this next season?
I like the potential. I liked what I saw in spring ball. Now, there's a caveat here. This is spring ball. There's going to be great plays from the offense. Is that because the offensive line is great, or is that because the defensive line can't stop the run?
The eternal question.
We saw this last year. I mean, everyone was blowing up Horned Frog Blitz and blowing up what Sonny Dykes was saying because of a certain running back they had that did not have a good year. He's gone now, and now it's a new group at running back. But I love the fact that Ryan Hughes is kind of taking over that left tackle spot. Looks great in spring ball, but I think the 2 biggest things I think are different that are going to make them better. Cade Bennett is healthy now. He got to TCU last year as one of those guys I was telling you about earlier. Hey, let's just find a guy that's played a lot of football. He's played a ton of football, was an all-conference kid at San Diego State. He's healthy now. He's manning that left guard spot. Colton Deary playing center. I'll probably get a text message. I'll probably get a call. I think he's going to be better there than James Brockemeyer. I really do. Sorry to say that about an All Saints kid, Clint, but I really feel like Colton Deary is going to be an upgrade at center. And what I saw from spring camp, there was a lot of big runs on the left side of the line behind Ryan Hughes and behind Cade Bennett. Colton Deary does a great job of being the quarterback of the offensive line, directing guys. Right guard's still going to be a question. Carson Bruno started there last year. He was out all spring camp. So we saw some guys like Remington Strickland step up. Cooper Powers stepped up a little bit. But I feel like Carson Bruno is probably going to retain that spot when he gets back and healthy. And then you mentioned Ben Taylor Whitfield. Ben Taylor Whitfield has quietly played a lot of football games, if that makes sense. He's a big kid. He started, I think, the last 9 games last year for the Frogs. This kid was had 3 offers out of high school from Duncanville, and he's played a ton of football for a Big 12 program that is going to compete for the Big 12 championship this year. And I think if you look at those starting 5, it's all about, you got those guys, but who's the next 3? Who's the next 4? AJ Ricker's always trying to find a good, solid 8 to 10 linemen, and right now I feel like they've probably got a good 7 right now.
It sounds like you just rattled off a pretty solid 2 deep, I'll be honest. That's the big thing on the line, especially they struggled so much at the beginning of last year, really formed into their own, a lot more experience. And like it sounds like there's a lot of depth. And you mentioned finding 7 to 8 guys. I think you ran off 10 to 12 names that you feel pretty good about. And again, you watch a lot more spring ball than I did. But I do like those names you're saying. I think a lot of experience, especially on the interior of the lines, going to help, maybe especially in those short distance game plays where he's kind of struggled in the past, some goal line packages. Get some meat in there, get some size and experience. I think it's going to be a solid unit. So.
I will say this: the short yardage stuff, where it seemed like TCU couldn't get last year until they moved Xavion to running back. I feel more comfortable saying I feel like that problem isn't going to be as prevalent this year as it was last year. I feel like they've got a good offensive line in place. They were already good enough as pass protectors, but I feel like they really put it upon themselves as a group to get better at creating run lanes. And they showed that. There was short yardage situations during practices this year where they really focused on trying to get 3-4 yards, 2 yards at goal line. And I feel like they really did good by moving the line. Now, it wasn't consistent all the time, but it was an improvement from what I saw last spring.
It seemed like it. I know Clint will probably take us here in a second, but I got some questions about the defensive line too. But let's keep talking offense. So.
Yeah. Well, I feel like when we talk about who's going to run behind this line, I feel like the Payne train, Jeremy Payne, and Nate Palmer. Those are probably your two obvious guys. Maybe John Denman gets in there a little bit as a freshman. Trent Battle. Hopefully you see Trent Battle catching more balls. But let's talk about, I think it was Billy that mentioned who replaces Savion and Besh and Richardson, right? We lost 3 stellar wide receivers there. And there's a lot of options besides just, I think Eric McAllister, like you said, Jeremy, will have a breakout year. But, what do we think about Jordan Dwyer? That's our one big transfer that came in. What do we think about the kid from Amarillo, whose name is escaping me? Major Everhart, Jordan Bailey, or maybe some of these freshmen. Who really should Horned Frog fans have their eyes on as playmakers at wide receiver?
Do we not feel good about Manjack? Is that still a thing?
Oh, Manjack too. Yeah, Manjack.
Yeah, that's a guy that I kind of feels like a little bit could be Jack Beshy. Like it could be a guy that comes in and put us some good numbers. Also got a similar facial structure as well. I've noticed. That's why I have the analogy. But that's a guy I think it could be really exciting for fans to watch too. I think the offense will be great. Hoover's going to throw for 300 yards a game. Plenty of targets to go around for these guys too.
Last year we saw Eric McAllister kind of be that sixth man of the offense. He would come in at key times, like you said, Clint, and it seemed like he would just rattle off a big play. And this year, the guy that I've kind of pinpointed to be Eric McAllister type receiver won't start, but he's going to come in and make some plays is Dozie, Ezukanma.
Oh, Ezukanma.
Dozie, he weighed 170 pounds soaking wet when he first got to TCU last year. He's a solid 195 now. Had a phenomenal spring. He was running with the twos a lot, and it's funny to watch spring camp because the dudes, like the dudes who they are. Eric McAllister is one of the dudes, so he could just someone's dog does not agree with me, but Eric would just kind of do the Jalen Rager, the Quentin Johnston, the Savion Williams, just go drink his water jug to the side and hey. You guys know what I can do. Let the young guys get in there. And Dozie took advantage of that and made some big plays. But Manjack, Dwyer, those guys are going to fill in nicely. But those are huge questions still. You lose 2 NFL receivers. John Paul Richardson is another guy I felt like should have been drafted. He's a huge shoes to fill. But I liked what I saw in spring camp. I think there is a load of talent there. There's speed, there's size, there's guys that can go up and catch the football. I'm excited to see what they do. But by stopping McAllister, for crying out loud, buy it now. And he had 8 catches in the bowl game in the first half. He could have broke the school record, but they wanted him to make sure, you're not getting him hurt against a team that has no chance to come back from 31 points. So let it be.
My dog's she saw that play by Jordan Bailey against Oklahoma State and just wants to hype up the Jordan Bailey train, that crazy touchdown he had late in the year last year. She was going to word it.
Here's a name for you guys that love the true freshman. Everyone always wants to start their true freshman on college football or whatever, play the rookies on Madden. Ed Small. Ed Small is going to be the
hearing that name.
Ed Small is a guy that Sonny Dykes absolutely loves. He's obviously was committed to Texas for baseball, decided I want to do this football thing more, so flipped to TCU. Man, I'm telling you right now, that kid has been impressive ever since I've known him, and I feel like he's going to be someone. He's not going to have 60 catches, but he's going to be – we're going to mention Ed Small's name at some point this season that's going to come down with a big play, and we're going to be thanking Ed Small, the true freshman.
Love it, love it, love it.